a very prevalent disorder which tends to affect more than 9% of the people all around the world. Issues like body image, body dysmorphia, body weight and body shape tend to become a huge center of attention for a lot of people, therefore opening up the possibility of all these disorders to happen. The different disorders include, first, anorexia nervosa. So anorexia nervosa is basically the disorder in which people tend to have moderate to low body weights but still consider themselves to have extremely high weight, and therefore they cut down on all the calories in food, making them more susceptible to lack of nutrients, causing them to live in poor health conditions and all of that. So the second one is bulimia nervosa. In bulimia nervosa, people tend to have unusually large meals to the point where they are very uncomfortably full. They've eaten so much that they are full to the point where they're not even comfortable to do activities which they usually do. So the next one, the third one, is binge eating disorder basically. The binge eating disorder is the one where people tend to eat food even when they're not hungry, even when they're not really wanting to have food, but still have it due to different occasions, like their friends came over, or they're watching a movie, or they just want something to eat even when the body is not really asking them for food. So the fourth one is pica. Pica is basically the disorder in which people tend to get attracted and crave non-food, non-edible items like chalk, paper, soap, dust, soil and all of that. This generally happens to people who are very young, like children basically, pregnant women and those who are mentally disabled. Other disorders include the purging disorder, ruminating disorder, ARFID and OSFED. Detailed videos on all of these disorders is going to come soon. So stay tuned. तो exactly कैसे ये आपके mental health पे affect करते हैं, तो जब आपको anorexia nervosa है, for example, जहाँ आप बिल्कुल नहीं खा रहे हो, आपको लग रहा है कि आपका वेट बहुत ज़्यादा है, आप नहीं खा रहे, कैलोरी डेफिसिट में रह रहे हो, वो भी एक्सट्रीम डेफिसिट, तो यू नॉट एबल टू रियली फोकस ऑन द थिंग्स दैट मैटर. जो आपके एक्टिविटीज़ है, आपका जो फ्यूचर है, आपको जो जिसके लिए काम करना है, उसमें नॉट गिविंग योर बेस्ट. सो दैट eventually leads to poor performance in your intellectual life basically. All of your work is hampered. तो इससे आपको और mental health issues हो जाते हैं. And because you think that when you'll get leaner, society will start accepting you, because that's most of the times about it. Like most of the people do that because they've been having comments from people that they are becoming fat, they are growing fat and all of that. So it's basically about what people have to say about them. So this is what anorexia does to your brain. It doesn't just make you like go on a very bad and poor diet. It also makes you mentally disturbed to the point where you're both intellectually, sometimes even spiritually hurt, because then there's nothing you're really grateful about, because all you focused on is what you're eating, what you're not eating. In disorders like bulimia and binge eating disorder, it's most of the times about how much you're eating. So because there's constant food, आप इतना सारा खाना अपने पेट में भर रहे हो कि आपकी बॉडी सारा का सारा अपना जो एनर्जी ऑलरेडी उसमें है, इट इज़ गोइंग टूवर्ड्स ऑल ऑफ द ब्लड, ऑल ऑफ इट इज़ गोइंग टूवर्ड्स डाइजेस्टिंग द फूड इन द स्टमक. सो जहाँ पे भी आप एक्टिविटीज़ कर रहे हो, या किसी भी अपने फाइनेंशियल स्टैंड पॉइंट से, या फिर कोई भी आपके डेली एक्टिविटीज़, उनको करने में आपको उतना मन नहीं लगेगा. एंड बिकॉज बुलिमिया में तो जनरली पीपल आर नॉट दैट ओवरवेट, दे टेंड टू हैव मॉडरेट वेट्स. बट बिंज ईटिंग डिसऑर्डर्स में देयर आर पीपल हु बीन seen to have very high, very unhealthy weights, even above 100, 120, 130. We've had a lot of people going above that way, so that is really not healthy. And then आपके सारे एक्टिविटी, स्पोर्ट्स नहीं खेल पाओगे, मूवमेंट्स नहीं कर पाओगे, आपको 2 फ्लोर्स चलने में आपको फिर ब्रीदिंग इश्यूज आ जाएंगे. So that is what happens during binge eating disorder, where you become very fat and not really attentive towards anything you do. So ये काफ़ी evident है कि जो eating disorders होते हैं, they really affect your overall physical and mental health. तो मैंने अपने डिप्रेशन के वीडियो में बेसिकली समझाया था about the different kinds of healths, कि 5 अलग टाइप के healths होते हैं, and how when one gets affected, the other 4 gets affected. And eating disorder, and all the examples I mentioned above, is a clear example and a testament to the fact that just because आपको एक physical problem है जो eating disorder है, जिससे आपका physical health भी affect हो रहा है, how that is translating into the mental health. अगर आपको इसके ऊपर और clarity चाहिए तो please go and watch the depression video, उसका link description में दिया हुआ है. There are a few things that the people having eating disorders should be doing. The first and the foremost is like not beating themselves up basically. Please take it easy on yourself. I know it's not easy to deal with that alone. It's not easy to be going through all of that and not being actually able to understand why it is happening to you and why you're not able to get out of it basically. But beating yourself up is really not going to help, because that is just going to worsen the process. As long as you understand what the problem is, focus on how you can get rid of it. If you don't know how to get rid of it, the next point will definitely help you. So the second point is to not really force recovery on yourself. Even though you might think that this disorder will eventually go away if you just follow some protocols given in the system or given somewhere in some random YouTube video or lol. in a random YouTube video or like a blog or something. It really doesn't happen that way. It may happen in some lucky cases, but most of the cases, seeking professional help is the right thing to do. Going to doctors who can help you out with that is the right thing to do. Go to therapists, go to doctors. Asking for help doesn't make you weak, it rather makes you brave. So guys, please take the step and go to a doctor. Also, please make sure to ask specific questions when you're needing help from anyone. Like if you're asking for help for your anxiety or your depression or any disorder whatsoever, it's very important for you to be able to ask very relevant and specific questions. It's very vague for someone to answer to, I'm having eating problems, how do I solve it? It's easier for someone to answer the question, I'd like you to tell me how do I stop binge eating? I'd like you to tell me how other people have recovered out of this disease. I'd like you to tell me if anyone you know has recovered from the disorder that I'm going through. I know for now I'm binge eating basically, but could you please help me out in knowing how I can just substitute these tacos and nachos which I'm eating into something like a salad or something healthy which won't really affect my health so much? Ask specific questions so that you get specific answers. Not easy, but simple. Please comment down below if you yourself or anyone in your circle or your vicinity has gone through any disorders and have recovered through it. If you have any answers as to how someone can do it, it will be really helpful for you to drop it down in the comment section so that anyone who comes on this video having a eating disorder can basically go through the comments and the comment section can help them out as a guide basically. Let's make our comment section a mini mental health Quora or something. Why not? Be generous, boys and girls. Until next time, I'll see you soon.